anything you want, and let me know that you're having some difficulties or having some problems. If you do that, I will help you immediately. All right? Don't worry about that. I'm here to help you all and here to make this as a seamless learning experience as possible. But at the same time, I want you all to be aware of, I want to make sure you guys get your money's worth, okay? With me not being in the classroom, some of us sometimes might be getting a little lazy, might not be doing our work because Mr. Hassey's not around to yell at you or look you in the eye and say, you better do this. But I want you to make sure, a lot of you are paying good money to be in this class. A lot of you are either borrowing money, your employer is paying for it, or it's coming out of your pocket, or somebody else is paying for it. I want to make sure that you learn from this class in this platform. And if any of you feel during the course of our class that that's not happening, I want you to let me know. Tell me that I'm not doing my job of getting this material to you. Now, one of the nice things about this tonight is I'm recording this class. Yes, I'm recording it. It's going to be posted to the Zoom cloud. So if you want to go back through the class during the course of the week and rerun the class on video, you can watch this class again because I'm recording each class to the cloud. I also will post a link of that recording in Blackboard where you can click on the link and watch the video again. Also, I know that a lot of us are having a lot of complex issues going on in our lives right now. We're dealing with being maybe laid off from work. We're dealing with work environment from our home. The kids are at home all the time now. A lot of things going on. So if you feel that you cannot attend class because you can go to the video that I'm recording and watch the class that way. I'd rather have you come online and live so you can actually hear it. The reason for that, it helps in the learning process. But if you can't make class, every class will be recorded and posted to the cloud that you can watch again. So just remember that. Now, as I said earlier, this Blackboard is how you get information. Now, one of the first big pieces of information is your grades. All right, what grade are you having? The report card section of your Blackboard right here on the front page will give you your grade. Now, naturally, you have no grades here right now, but as you go forward in class, for example, here's a grade from a prior class right here. All right, you just click on that grade and it'll give you the background of what your grade is. You're going to be doing some graded work this next week, due next Friday. Once you post that work next Friday, I'll grade it next weekend. The grade will be in that section. You'll always know where you stand in this class. That's an important thing to me. Secondly, whenever I send you an email or send you information, it'll be automatically posted to this course information file. If you click on this course information file, there is a variety of information. Our course schedule. You can take a look at our course schedule. There's information about the syllabus again, which we'll go over tonight, information on how to get in touch with me, my email address, my phone number, or my text message address. Some of you today have already sent me text messages, and my little bio about how goofy I am, and then other tools. Here's an important tool. It's called YouTube, all right? YouTube. This is on your syllabus as well. I'm going to bring up YouTube right now. If you click on this, you'll go to our YouTube site. And here it is right here. All right. Edmund, I see your picture on there. Give me a thumbs up. Do you see the YouTube site on your screen, Edmund?
Yes.
Good.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
I thought I did send a thumbs up.
Oh, okay. I didn't see it. Maybe the camera's a little bit too low.
How about that?
There you go. How about that's perfect. Okay. Thanks, Edmund.
Yeah.
So here's my YouTube site. I have this site on YouTube with all videos from all the classes that I teach at the University to Learn. If you click on playlist and look for our class, there it is right there, Business 493, Personal Money Management. You click on view the playlist and there's videos that I have already set up for our class. I sent you and posted a video last week introducing our class. There's that video there. Tonight we're talking about banking and borrowing of money. here's certain videos that will be very helpful to you. So instead, if some of you don't have a textbook, you can use these videos to supplement the textbook to help you learn the material. All right? These will be updated every week with our subject matter. And the good thing about this is you can do it at your own leisure. You can do it when you have a break in your day. You can do it in the middle of the night. You can do it if you can't sleep. No, I wouldn't do that, but you can do that. You can do this at any time during the day. And also, the nice thing about it is you have access to this forever. Once this class is over, you can go back to the playlist and you can see I have videos about finance and the economy. I have videos about all different types of subjects that I teach at Laverne: accounting, MBA finance, corporate finance, online teaching, accounting, that's a boring subject, and all kinds of stuff. Technology, this is available to you forever, and you don't have to pay for it. That's the nice thing. So again, this is our class right here. It's in our YouTube playlist. The link is in Blackboard. The link is in the syllabus. You click on that, and here's a whole slew down as we get going of videos that you can do. You just click on the video, up it comes, and there we go. For example, let's take a look at a video that I wanted to show you tonight. It's about banking. Now, I'm sure most of you have bank accounts, all right? But the subject of chapter 1 in our text is banking. What is a bank? And I'm going to have you do an assignment about banking this coming week. But let's take a look at this video now.
Hey, Prof, maybe it's my computer, but I'm not getting a lot of volume. There you go. Hey. Oh, it's just music.
That's how these videos work, okay? Now, I just give you a little snippet, but you can go in and watch these at any time you want. And matter of fact, all these videos are relevant to the first 2 chapters of our textbook. So again, these videos are helping you. This one's kind of corny. All of this is music and somebody writing on a wall. But the point of it is just gives you back up to the reading material and help you understand what I'm trying to talk about. And I'll talk about a lot of this stuff a little bit later tonight. All right, that's the YouTube site. A lot of information for you. Every week, every Sunday, I will post a video by myself about introducing the next week of class. I posted one last Sunday. I'm going to do that again this Sunday. It just gives you highlights. The video I post this Sunday is going to explain your first assignment, your first graded work. It's going to explain the next material that you'll be reading for the next class. So every Sunday, you'll get a video from me that will be posted to Blackboard and also posted to the YouTube. So become familiar with this. You can also subscribe to Mr. Hassey's YouTube site. You can go in there and you can subscribe to it by clicking on the subscribe in the menu, and you always get an update via email talking about what I've posted in my YouTube site. So again, that's another source of information for you that's going to be very helpful for you, I think, in this class. So back to the Blackboard class, Blackboard site. Here's their Zoom links. You guys have already seen these, but here's one other link that's important to you. On every Monday, I have what is called Zoom office hours. You can click on this link between Mondays between 1 and 3 p.m. and I'm just sitting in front of my computer like this, waiting for you to come on, all right? Waiting for you to come on with questions. Now, it doesn't mean you can always, you can only talk to me on Mondays from 1 to 3. No, that doesn't mean that. You can make an appointment with me at any time or send me an email at any time. But you, just for this class, I'm available Monday afternoons from 1 to 3. You can come on Zoom and you can ask me any questions or any difficulties. For example, let's say you download the assignment this weekend and begin to look at it that's due next Friday. Geez, Mr. Hassey, I don't understand what you're asking in this question. Can you give me some help? You log in on Monday afternoon from 1 to 3. You can ask me your questions and I can help you with any concerns you have about the assignment work. If you're working or you got family activities or whatever during that time period and you can't go to Zoom, just send me an email, send me a text. Or you say, Mr. Hassey, can I make an appointment to Zoom you any other time during the week? We can do that as well. So those are the links to our class, the lectures every Friday night and the office hours at 1 to 3 every Monday. The next menu item is student questions and discussions. If you have a question that you don't want to Zoom me, if you have a question you don't want to email me, you can just go to this forum, click on this file, questions and comments, and you can create a thread like this and go to the subject and type in, Mr. Hassey, what the hell is going on? Or whatever subject you want. And then below, you can ask me a question. You know, something about the material, about what's going on. Maybe you're having a problem with Blackboard, whatever. And then you submit it, and then I get the question. All right? And then I'll answer back to you. So this is a forum. Every week you can send me questions or comments. Mr. Hassey, you know, it's not working. I can't get anything out of this class. Okay, well, let's talk about it. Now, the thing that's different between this and like using Zoom or using an email is every one of your fellow colleagues, your fellow students, will see the post to this forum. So if you ask me a question, Mr. Hassey, what the hell is going on? All your other students in the class will see that as well. But in some respects, that might be a good thing. Maybe your fellow students don't know what the hell's going on, and this answer to this question would be helpful to them as well. But this is called a discussion forum. There'll be a folder set up for every week of our class. The next folder, and I know a lot of you are worried about grades, is our assignment folder. All right. This is our assignment for next week. It's due Friday, April 3rd at the noon hour, okay? You do not email me your work. You will post that to Blackboard, to this file folder. This assignment represents 20% of your course grade. I'll go through the assignment a little bit later, but when you do your work, you're going to download this file. I give you two files. One is in a PDF format. One is in a Word doc format. And then I give you a sample of a portfolio that I've set up, which you are going to do as part of this assignment. And again, I'll talk about that later. But you just download these files to your desktop, and then you can begin to work on the assignment. If anybody's not aware of how to download them, you just right-click the file, save the link, and then you'll save it to your desktop, save it to your flash drive, however you want, wherever you want to save it. You hit save, and then it's saved to your file, and now you have the file to work on. And then when you're done with the file, you have all the files you've done to answer all my questions, you open up this file folder, which is to upload your files. So what you do then is you attach the files from your desktop by going to Browse My Computer and going to your desktop or wherever your file is. So I go to my desktop. Naturally, there's no files there, but if there was a file, I would just click on the file, open it, and it would automatically attach it to this file folder. You hit submit, and then I have your work to grade. I will grade it and then send it back to you through this grade center, and you'll get your grade and my comments about your work. That's how we post work. All right. Click on the file folder, upload the files from your computer, hit submit. I have your work, we're all set. I'll go over the specifics of assignment number 1 a little bit later, but this is your first graded work right off the bat in our class. And then, as you can see, I have every week set up in Blackboard, every week of our course. If you click on week number 1, Introduction, Banking and Borrowing, that's our topic. Here's the video that I sent you last week, explaining the course, introducing the course. Here's our agenda again from tonight of what we're trying to accomplish. Then an introduction to the course. This is some material that's taken right out of the textbook about banking and borrowing. What is a certificate of deposit? Your credit score, what is a credit score? There's some videos in YouTube to talk about this. This is basically taken out of the textbook, and it's your material of the highlights that I find is important for the chapters. Every week, week 2, week 3, or class 3, class 4, and so on, are all set up already in Blackboard. Naturally, as we go forward, I will be adding to this, but these are every week, every class that we meet, you'll have material, always an introduction video, always an agenda, and then backup material about the subject at hand, all right? The rest of the Blackboard file is tools, additional tools if you need help. So what I urge you all to do this first week is play with Blackboard. Go online, try to make sure you're comfortable with it, know where all the menus items is, know where the information is that you need. If you have any problems with that, you just let me know. You just let me know. That's our Blackboard site. If I go too fast, somebody tell me to shut up. Just send me a chat. Mr. Hassey, shut up. Okay. All right. Now let's take a look at another thing as I catch my breath. Let me take a drink. Cheers. Ooh. Okay. Now let's bring up our syllabus, which I hope some of you have looked at. Here's our syllabus for our class. This is everything you want to know about getting an A at University of Laverne as possible. You follow this syllabus, you know what's going on here, you'll do very fine in our class. All right, again, we meet on these days from 6 to 8 o'clock. I don't think we'll be going to 8 o'clock tonight. Probably going maybe 7:30-ish, something like that. But this is our class. We meet at these dates. Naturally, in the weeks we don't meet, like April 10, April 24th, May 8th, we don't meet those nights. You'll still have work to do. You'll still have reading. You'll still have information to worry about in those off weeks. There's my cell number, my text message number. Some of you have already, as I said earlier, have sent me texts, as I can see tonight. Here's our Zoom address. Here's, if any of you would like to use WebEx, I can also meet with you on using WebEx. And there's that link to our YouTube channel that I was just talking about. All right. This class is designed to provide you with an understanding of personal finance. It's to help students gain useful financial information, discover strategies for developing a comprehensive plan for managing your personal finances. For example, Mr. Hassey, I'm 25 years old. I have no money. What do I do? All right. Or Mr. Hassey, I'm 35 years old. I have little savings. How do I start saving? How do I start investing money? How do I start putting money aside for the future? We're going to be talking about that. Mr. Hassey, I have a bank account at Wells Fargo, but I really don't know how that works. What goes on there? Mr. Hassey, I have a credit score of 650. What does that mean? What does that mean? Is that good or bad? We're going to be talking about all those things throughout our course. There's our learning objectives. Here's our text. It's cheap. That's what I like about it. It's cheap. It's the Wall Street Journal Personal Finance Guidebook. It's a little old, but it's still pretty relevant for what we have to do. Also, you'll need probably for your work a financial calculator or the use of Microsoft Excel, Microsoft Word, Microsoft PowerPoint. If you have a Mac, Apple Numbers, Pages, Keynote. These are things that will be helpful in your learning in our class. If you don't know how to use those things, don't worry about it. I'll help you. We're going to have lectures online. We'll have, not this week, but we'll have some problems to do in class, but we'll have, this week is just an assignment. And we'll also, you're going to be doing a paper in our class, the last couple of weeks of class, and I will give you the topics. You will choose those topics, and then we'll go from there. Veronica asks, what is the price of the book? Good question. Can anybody answer that, since I haven't been to the bookstore lately or online, but I think it's only about $10 or something, isn't it?
Yeah, it was $8 on Amazon.
$8
Yeah,
on Amazon.
$8 on Amazon also.
Okay,
Yeah.
good. So we're not talking a lot of money. That's why I like it. I mean, if I could go out and I could pick a textbook that costs $75. That's ridiculous for a 2-credit course. This book meets all those needs, and it's less than $10. So
they even have the workbook on Amazon as well that goes with it.
oh, very good. Thank you. Thank
I
you.
got that one as well.
Oh, good. Okay. Well, that'll help. That'll help. Thank you. That's great. Okay, good. So that's easy. Not easy, but again, but also if you don't want to buy it, I think you can get away with it not buying it, but it'll be helpful. Here's our grading. 20% of participating in class, coming online, participating in the class. Even though I don't ask you to turn on your video. If you do turn on your video, I like that because it makes the class a little bit more personal. But if you don't want to turn on your video, that's fine. But it's very important that I know that you're going to be in class. If you can't be in class for the reasons we talked about earlier tonight, just send me a little email or a text saying, Mr. Hassey, you don't even have to give me the reason. You say, Mr. Hassey, I'm not going to be available tonight. I just make sure that you record the class so I can see it later. That is fine. But class participation is important. You have 3 assignments. One of them begins this week, and then you'll have a case paper, which I'll give you the case paper topics a little bit later in the course. Student responsibilities, that's pretty well, I just mentioned that. If any of you need any technology issues, our Blackboard help desk, email for Blackboard. You can get tutoring resources at the Academic Success Center. You can click that link. You can call them if you're having difficulties or having some issues. They can help you. I'd rather you come to me first, and if I feel that you should use those resources, fine. Many times I can solve your problem quicker, because sometimes, especially these days with all the technology challenges at the university, it might be tough getting through to somebody, let alone somebody to help you. But if you need help, these are vehicles for you. Academic honesty, naturally in the online environment, your work is on the honor system. I give you the work to do online at home, post it to Blackboard. It's basically on the honor system, but I'm sure I've never had too many troubles with that. Our paid political announcement from the university, that's great. And then our schedule, okay? So as you can see, we have graded work due week 1, class 1, class 2, class 3, and class 5. No graded work, class 4. But as you can see, and this is the chapters I will be covering every week. Those chapter highlights are already in Blackboard. If you don't have the textbook, there'll also be videos backing up that classwork, those chapters in YouTube. So you have plenty of ways of getting the material, and naturally my course lectures every week will talk about the key points of these items, all right? That's our syllabus, sweet and sassy, no problems, okay? Now, I'm going to bring up one more thing before we get into the real lecture of tonight. Hang on. Bear with me. Oh, here we go. Every week, at the beginning of the week, I will post an agenda for the class. And this also will be in Blackboard, all right? One of the things, the reason why I post this agenda, so you can just prepare yourself for basically what I'm going to be talking about and get understanding of what I'm going to be going over in class. The material I cover in class is basically the material that I grade you on, and the material you should know either for the assignments of that week or for the case paper that you'll be doing later on in the class. So the agenda is to give you a head start about understanding what I'm going to be talking about. If you don't have a textbook, you just go to Blackboard and look at the material that's posted there as a reference. You also have the YouTube channel with videos talking about the information we have in class. So use the agenda as your guide to just prepare for class. I know one of the things that's difficult with online is that sometimes we tend to get a little lazy. We get a little sloppy. So make sure you keep to a regimented schedule as best as you can. I know we have a lot of challenges in our lives these days, but keep to a schedule where if you have class on Friday night, maybe you work on the work during the weekend prior, like this weekend, and then maybe you do a little reading or studying during the course of the week with the YouTube, or reading the material on Blackboard, or reading the textbook. So plan yourself a schedule. I don't know how many classes you all are taking, but try to fit in a regiment during the course of the period, or the course of the class, when you're doing your work. Trust me, if you do it that way, you'll get an A. You'll get an A in this class. But if you do haphazard, well, I'm going to do it now. No, I'll wait till Thursday night. If you do that kind of schedule, sometimes you make mistakes. Sometimes you don't answer all the work cleanly, and that's an important thing to know in our class. Okay, so let me just stop right here and say, does anybody have any questions at this point? Open up your mic up if you have a question, or send a question via chat. Does anybody have any questions on Blackboard, the syllabus, YouTube, the shirt I have on, whatever? Does anybody have any questions? No? You guys are too easy. You're too easy. That's good. Okay. All right. Well, then I'll move on. Well, I'll move on. Hang on now. Let me get set up to move on. Just a sec. I'm back to our YouTube site, and I want to play a video for you that's a little bit better than the last video I had for you. It's Banking Explained, this video here. So I'm going to play that right now. It lasts about 4 minutes and basically explains what chapter 1 is all about in your reading. So let me show this video to you now.
Used to sit for exchanging coins or bills in the marketplace, but it's the goldsmiths of 17. Today, the banking industry is considered as the backbone of the economy and has a major contribution to its growth. It's also the main driver for currency and financial stability. But how did the story of banking start? The term bank is derived from the Old Italian word banca, meaning a bench. It referred to the public benches where money changers used to sit for exchanging coins or bills in the marketplace. But it's the goldsmiths of 17th century London who developed banking in its modern form. The goldsmith, who used to store wealthy clients' gold in their private vaults, soon began to lend this gold to others in exchange of a promissory note and the payment of an interest charge. That was the beginning of banking as we know it today. So what is the general role of a bank? Depositors, or people with money surplus, place their money at the bank in order to earn a return through the credit interest. Borrowers, or people with a shortage of money, on the other hand, are willing to pay interest on the money the bank is lending them in order to accomplish an objective they're seeking. How do banks make profit? A bank's primary source of revenue comes from the difference between the interest it's paying to depositors and the one it's earning from borrowers. A bank also makes profit from charging fees or commissions for services granted by the bank to its customers and from investments. So why are banks regulated? Banks collect funds from depositors in the form of small-sized deposits and repackage them into larger-sized loans. Borrowers, on the other hand, might not be able to repay the money they borrowed from the bank. In addition to that, banks sometimes invest deposits in risky assets. All of these reasons explain the major role of central banks in protecting depositors' money by monitoring the adequate level of riskiness the bank is taking. What is the role of central banks? Central banks oversee monetary policy to implement specific goals, such as currency stability, low inflation, and full employment. They determine the interest rates that influence the bank's pricing schemes and the economy's money supply. They issue currency and grant authorization to establish banks. Central banks also impose a threshold for capital requirements and place reserve requirements to ensure liquidity in crisis mode. They shape lending policies through margin requirements and other tools, and they act as a lender of last resort to finance banks that need liquidity. Today, several types of banks exist to answer the different needs of consumers and to give them a choice in the way they manage their money. A retail bank, for example, provides services to individuals. Commercial and corporate banks serve small to mid-sized businesses and large enterprises. Investment banks specialize in large and complex financial transactions. Private banks offer a personalized financial and banking service to high net worth individuals. So, what do we know today about the future of banking? Direct channels such as mobile and the internet are becoming increasingly important in retail banking as they are in our everyday life. Customers today expect financial firms to listen, respond, and offer services through social media. Customers across all segments expect highly personalized, convenient, and reliable service, along with 24/7 accessibility. Banking is no longer somewhere you go, but something you do.
Okay. I'm sure a lot of you know about banking. It's something that's important, especially these days. This morning, or this afternoon, President Trump signed $6 trillion bill to come to the United States people. $6 trillion. What that money does is, oh, I have a chat here, hang on. Oh, okay, thank you. Today, the United States government authorized $6 trillion to go into our economy. It boggles the mind. But what that means is that's $6 trillion that the United States Treasury will go out and distribute. But how does the United States Treasury distribute that money to the businesses, to unemployment insurance, to Medicare, to all kinds of reasons why we're going to have the $6 trillion spending? They do that through the central banking system. They release the money to the Federal Reserve, and then the Federal Reserve releases it to Bank of America, to your credit unions, to Wells Fargo, to all the banking institutions in the country. That allows us to have cash. And as many of you know, cash rules the world. If you don't have cash, you can't pay bills. If companies don't have cash, they can't pay their employees. If companies don't have cash, they can't produce new goods and services. That's what the government did today, is releasing this cash to the banking system. How it's released? Well, in about 3 or 4 weeks, most of you will be getting in the mail a check for $1,200. Or for some of you, even more than that. What does that mean? is it keeps the economy going while we try to figure out to get out of this mess with the virus, all right? But the key thing to that is the banking system distributes the cash to the public, all right? And for you people, why do you use a bank? Well, you have a bank to collect the direct deposit of your paycheck. You have a bank to save money for a new car. You have a bank to save money for Christmas. You have a bank to borrow money for a new car. Many of you have credit unions. Many of you have savings and loans. Those are institutions that store your money, all right? And that's a key part of all this. One of the key things to be able to get a loan is you have to have a bank account, all right? You have to have some type of establish of credit. How do you establish credit? Well, you get a credit card. Many ways of getting a credit card is you have a relationship with a bank that will give you a credit card. So banking is required, or somewhat required, in personal banking, in personal finance. You need a bank. Some of us go to check cashing places because we don't have a bank account. Well, if that's our only alternative, be it so. But also check cashing businesses do not give you all the money for your check. They take a large amount of fees out of that. That's why trying to establish a bank in your personal finance regiment is a key. It establishes credit and it helps you manage your money. So one of the reason why we start off personal money management with chapter 1 in banking is because without a relationship to a bank or a credit union or a savings and loan or some type of institution, you cannot establish credit to give you the ability to borrow money, which is talked about in chapter 2, all right? So it's a key part of personal management, understanding the relationship that you have with a bank or getting a bank account, all right? It also tells the credit people, the FICO people, the credit lenders of the world, that if you can manage a bank account, deposit money, write checks, transfer funds, maybe have a little bit of savings in a savings account, it tells the credit agencies and the FICO people, you are worthy to be given a credit card. You are worthy to get a new car loan. You are worthy to get a student loan. So this is one of the most important parts of personal money management, is to establish a financial regiment like a bank account. And that's why chapter 1 is so important to personal money management. You need this to establish your credit. How many people here that I can see have a bank account? Raise your hand. Okay, if you don't have a bank account, that's okay too. You have to have some way of acknowledging or some way of keeping track of your money, all right? And that's an important facet, all right? For example, when I got out of college, I didn't have a bank account. I was 22 years old, looking for work. I didn't have a bank account. And when I went into my job interview, one of the first things they asked me, because I was in business, I was in accounting back then, is, all right, give me an example of you managing money. What do you do? I was in trouble. I didn't have a bank account. I didn't have any way of explaining to them how I manage money. I didn't have any work experience. But if I told them that if I didn't get the job, let me just tell you honestly. But when I asked them, why didn't I get the job? They said, well, you don't have a history of doing the things that we require you to do in this job. Well, that's why I'm applying for the job. I want you to train me. Well, you need some skills beforehand. That's why you guys are getting a business degree. That's why you're getting a business degree. You tell an employer, hey, I got a business degree. I kind of know what's going on about managing money. I kind of know about marketing. I kind of know about statistics or accounting. But I kind of know about these things. So that's what a business degree allows you to open those doors up to better your career, better your jobs. Banking or a bank account is the same thing. It gives yourself a little bit of legitimacy in the personal financial market. That's why it's very important. So to understand that is what's chapter 1 of the textbook talking about. I want to show you something. Let me go back to Blackboard. going to go into week 1. One of the ways that banks provide you with personal management experience is you can put money into what is called a savings account, a checking account, a certificate of deposit, which is an investment account. You can establish credit by having a bank account. It gives the world a picture of what you have as far as financial background. So a bank is one of the key areas that you need to understand in order to develop your personal money management skills, all right? That's a key thing about this. What's one of the advantages of having a bank account? You can use your debit card. And a lot of you have those. You have the ability to put money aside. For example, I want to save for a new, I want to buy something in the future, like a new TV or something. Put money into a savings account. It earns a little interest, not much, but you now are putting money aside for something later on. It gives you the ability, instead of putting money in your drawer in your house, it gives you a way of putting it into a safe place and earn a very little interest over time. Because that's how banks work. Banks, let's say I get a paycheck today for $100. It's deposited into my bank account. I have $100 now. I'm not going to probably spend that money right away. Maybe, maybe not, but I'll spend it as I need it. But what the bank does is they take that $100 and group it with all the other deposits that they received that day. And then you know what they do? They invest in United States government securities. They earn a little interest off that money. But at the same time, banks keep a reserve in their banks to cover the people who want to take out their $100 right now. It's called reserve requirements. And banks have to keep those requirements at hand. Thus, we get to why the government today and President Trump, signed a $6 trillion economic package. People their work has slowed down. They're staying at home. Some people are not getting the paychecks that they're used to. So what do? They need liquidity. They need cash. So they go to their bank accounts and take out more money than they usually do. So they can go to Target and sit in line and buy toilet paper. So they can go to Vons and sit in line and buy food. They need liquidity. So what the government today did is the banks are taking all that liquidity out. They're getting their reserve requirements a lot lower. Their cash is dropping. So the government now is establishing the banks to be able to have all that credit or all that cash back into their banks so they can afford to pay out all that money that the people need to keep their cash flow going during these difficult times. That's what's going on in the economy right now. Is the federal government is trying to maintain liquidity in the market, so you can go in the bank and take your $100 out. See, almost every bank, 100% of the banks of the world, once you deposit that money, it goes out. They either invest it, they lend it out to other people in the bank. That's what happens. So they have to keep a reserve. So if you need that money quicker, they need that reserve to be there. So that's why the government is giving all this new cash out into the marketplace to make sure we have liquidity in the market. All right. Crazy times, definitely crazy times. So one of the key things about Chapter 1 is, what is a bank? Well, a bank is a place to deposit your checks. A bank is a place to write checks. But I don't know about you, I can't remember, I'm thinking about now. Of course, I'm an old gangster, so my ways are a little bit different. But I can't remember the last time I wrote a check. When I pay a bill now, I go online and pay the bill. Or I have for example, Southern California Edison, Southern California Gas, my cable company. My phone company is, what is my phone company? AT&T. When they have a bill, they send that bill automatically to my bank, and the bank automatically pays it. I say, bank, go ahead and pay it. As long as I know when you pay it and how much you paid, and I get a copy of that bill, go ahead and pay it. I don't write checks anymore. Now, some of us like to write checks, and we need to write checks. That's fine. But banking is a way of consolidating all these services into one area that you can deposit your money and pay your bills. But more importantly, a bank is available for you to make investments. All right? Investments. And let me give you an example of that right now. Bear with me. I got to open up a file here. Oops, wrong one. Here I come. Got so many files open, I'm losing track what's going on here. This is an investment portfolio that I'm going to do during the course of our class. I'm investing in a couple of companies. Why do I want to show this? Because if my account is at Wells Fargo, I can buy these stocks from my account in Wells Fargo. I have a credit union account. I can link my credit union account to an E-Trade account and buy these stocks through my credit union account. The bank gives you the ability to make investments, all right? One of the questions on the assignment this week is I'm going to ask you to put together a portfolio like this, but you're going to pick the stocks. We're going to track these during the course of our class. For example, I've picked Apple Computer, General Electric, Walt Disney, and Ford Motor Company. And I have determined that their closing price today, March 27th, is I went into the marketplace, I went into Yahoo Finance, I went into any Wall Street Journal, wherever, and I found the closing price of my stock today. And then I decided to invest $25,000 in each one of these 4 stocks. I put together a spreadsheet, and the spreadsheet takes the price of the stock today and divides it into the amount that I'm investing, and I get my number of shares. I round this off to the nearest whole number. So now I have established an investment. During the course of our class, I'm going to take different snapshots of how these prices change over time. Also, I'm going to compare it to what is called the market. The Dow Jones Index, the S&P 500 Index, and the NASDAQ Index. These are the closing prices in those indexes. That is what is considered the market. We'll talk more about this in week 2, next week's class. But I want you to try. The reason why I'm doing this exercise this week in your assignment number 1 is I want to see your ability to put together an Excel spreadsheet or an Apple numbers spreadsheet. See if you can do that. If you can't do it, I will help you. Don't worry about it. But I want you to put together a portfolio of stocks that we're going to track through class. And the reason to do this is to understand how investments work in the market, understand the relationship of the market to how we're doing, and at the same time do a little Excel work, learn how to use a spreadsheet. But also there's a benefit for you in this. It's whatever student in our group does the best, makes the most money over the course of our class, they will be determined to be called the Wolf of Wall Street. And they will get a prize at the end of our class, a little gift card and a little University of Laverne banner, and you'll get a reward for putting together a portfolio. Now here's the catch. Once you pick your stocks, you can't change them. You're locked into those stocks for the entire 10 weeks of our class. So this is something that we're going to do, and I'll show you this in the assignment in a few minutes. This is something we're going to do for next week. The sample of this portfolio is in your Blackboard, but I've given you a sample that's in a PDF version, not an Excel version. Your job is to pattern this and create an Excel file by picking the stocks. Now I know the next question will be, Mr. Hassey, I have no friggin' clue what type of stock I will pick. That's okay. Just pick out, for example, you like to go to McDonald's for breakfast. I like the food at McDonald's. Maybe I'll buy some stock in McDonald's. I have a chat question here. Let me see what that's all about. No, I'll explain that in just a minute. You don't have to, you can pick up to 5 companies. You can pick up to 5 companies. You can pick one company and invest the whole 100,000, or you can pick 5 companies. How you determine the makeup of the investment is your decision. It just has to total $100,000. All right. You can pick anywhere from 1 to 5 companies. I opted to pick 4. No reason. Ford Motor Company could be a disaster, but we'll see. And I allocated a quarter of my 100,000 to each company, and that drove how many shares of stock I purchased. See what happens. Let's say that next time we do an evaluation, the stock of Disney goes up to $250 a share. I'll multiply 250 times the original amount of shares I purchased, and that'll tell me how much money I've made in that time as the stock has gone up. These days, with the market, if any of you are familiar with the market, it's been a little bit scattered. The market's dropped quite a bit, 25% over the last month or so. Now might be a good time to buy stocks. So that's why we're doing this, all right? Good question. You can pick 1 to 5 stocks, and let me show you that right now. Oops, hang on. Here I come. Here's the first assignment you're doing this week. All right, this assignment is you'll be working on it all this week. I'll be giving you an introductory video on Sunday talking about this assignment, but it's a series of questions from chapters 1 and 2 of your textbook, but also it's asking you to do a little bit of research about your reading for next week, chapter 3 on budgets. All right, and let me explain this to you. So this is a series of 4 questions that you'll answer, and you'll put together the answers either in a separate file, or you can download this file and type right here the answers. But also you need to post a spreadsheet file for your portfolio. So this is due next Friday at the noon hour, all right, on April 3rd. First question. Locate a commercial bank and describe the individual banking services they offer, concentrating on checking, savings, and investment accounts. What are they and how much do they cost? Question. Oh, you're answering, I don't understand. He said 5, I believe. I wrote down 5. You can pick 1 to 5 companies, again, you can put all the 100,000 in one company, or select up to 5 companies. And I'll get to that when we get to the question. First question is asking you, if you have an account at Wells Fargo, go online and give me a brief description of the type of banking services they offer and explain the cost. If you have a credit union, go to your credit union and find out that. Exactly right. Well, interest rate on the accounts, yes, but also, for example, I have a checking account at Wells Fargo. They charge me $30 a month to manage that checking account. Okay, that's a cost. If you look up banking services, they'll indicate to you what it costs to open up a savings account. What does it cost to open up an investment account? That's what I'm looking for, not interest, but the cost of having that account. Some of you might have banking fees in your accounts, and you'll understand that. But I want you to go to a commercial bank. You're either the bank that you do business with, and just list what type of services they offer and explain them. All right? I'd like you to do that. The second question, at the bank that you selected, locate two types of their loans. And this is where we're talking about interest. Find that bank, what's their current car loan? What's their current home mortgage rate? All right. For example, I go to Wells Fargo, what's the current interest rate on a car loan? What's the current interest rate on a mortgage? Now they'll give you time periods, 2, 3, 4, 5, 20, 25, 30 years. You just pick one. Take an example of a car loan and tell me it's a 3-year car loan at currently 5%. That's what this bank offers. The home mortgage, I can get a mortgage at Wells Fargo for 25 years at 4.5%. I just want you to go through the process of looking up what types of services they offer in terms of banking services, in the terms of loans, and explain those that you found out. Part of this exam, part of the assignments is for you to go to the internet or go to resources and look up information and then give me that feedback about what information you saw. Question number 3. I don't want this to get too personal, but I want you to show me an example of a budget, okay? Prepare a budget for yourself or your family based on the budget items on page 73 of your text. Well, I gave you those budget items here. Rent, mortgage, groceries, auto insurance, savings. It could be clothing. It could be credit card payments. It could be a whole slew of things. But I just want you to put down in a brief budget what that is. What do you spend? What is your budget for rent? What is your budget for groceries? And we'll talk about this next week, but I want you to go through that process. And you can make it up if you'd like. I don't want to know your specific family and your specific budget items of your life. But if I was running a budget, my usual scheme of things is maybe spend 25% or 20% on rent or a mortgage, 10% on groceries, maybe 5% or 10% on insurance, 15% on clothing, that sort of thing. And then I keep 10% of what I make and I put it into a savings account. Just going through the process of setting aside a budget of setting aside a plan of how you spend your money. Many of you probably already do this, many of you don't. And this is a good exercise of just getting to understand how you allocate your money, all right? A budget. You get a paycheck. How much do you spend on rent? How much do you spend on groceries? I want you to go through and list those type of examples that could be in a budget. Again, you don't have to use, and I don't want to know your exact numbers, but how would you set up a budget if you could for yourself or your family? And finally, question number 4 is the stock market question I just gave you an example of. This is the beginning of our discussion on investments. I'm giving you an imaginary $100,000 to invest in the stock market. You can select up to 5 stocks in your portfolio. You can pick 1, 2, 3, or as I did, 4 or 5. I attached in the blackboard an example of that portfolio. I showed it to you just a minute ago. Okay, I want you, oops, I just gave this the wrong date. I apologize. I didn't change this. Your stock portfolio, and I'll change this, is going to be based on the stock price of Wednesday, April 1st. So you're going to pick the stock prices on Wednesday, April 1st, all right? And here it is right here. Complete your portfolio as I have in a sample. You select the stock price. Oh, on March 31st. I'm sorry, excuse me. March 31st. And I'll change this here, March 31st as well. But you pick your stocks. For example, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to go ahead and open up what is called Yahoo Finance. So bear with me. I'm going to bring this up. I'm going to type in my browser, Yahoo Finance. All right, let's bring that up on the screen so you all can see it. Here's Yahoo Finance. So I open up Yahoo Finance, and it can be any. You can use Google Finance, you can use anything. But let's say I want to buy a stock on March 31st, this coming Tuesday. So what I do on March 31st, the stock market closes at 1 o'clock Pacific time every day. So I can go in the afternoon or the evening or even the next day. And let's say I want to buy stock in Target. I type in Target. Oops, wrong one. Got to spell it right, first of all. Target. And there's Target Corporation, TGT. I click on that, and it'll give me the price of the stock on that day. So if I wanted to buy Target stock today, I would pay $94.74 for it. If you want to look at historical prices, you just click on historical data, and up comes the prices of all the days in the last long back. Look at Target. 1 month ago, Target was at $118. Today, it's at $94. Ouch. But I want you to go through this exercise of looking up the stock price for a company that you select and find the stock price on Tuesday, March 31st, and put together a spreadsheet like the one I showed you earlier. Again, the reason why I'm doing this is we're going to track this throughout our course, but also I want to get you to see your abilities to put together a spreadsheet using real financial data from the real world and see if you can do that. If you can't do it very well, remember I have office hours Mondays from 1 to 3. You can set up a review session or send me emails for questions to help you. I'd like you to try to put this together this week, this sample portfolio. Yahoo Finance is a good source. Google Finance is a good source. You know, you can do a variety of different ways. Your starting date is March 31st. The price of the stock on March 31st, that's what you will put into your portfolio. All right. And again, your portfolio is going to be looking like this. That's your portfolio. I picked 5 stocks. I went to Yahoo Finance today and got the prices of these stocks. Here's the Dow S&P 500. That's kind of a little extra credit. If you all can find those on March 31st, I'll give you some extra credit points for the work. And then I put together this spreadsheet with the columns, took the investment, divided it by the stock price to get the number of shares, and everything totals 100,000. So I want you to try to put that together this week in your assignment number 1. So 4 questions. First question is about banking. Second question is about borrowing. Third question is about, can you do a quick little budget about what you spend? Again, hypothetical, it doesn't have to be actual. If you were running your finances, what would you spend on certain items? Remember, it has to total 100%. And then your stock portfolio. All these questions will lead into our discussions next week on our online class. Do the best you can. I'm asking you to go into the internet and do research. Find these items out. Explain them to me. Give me the data. And put together a spreadsheet with a sample portfolio as of Tuesday, March 31st. All right? Kind of a lot to do, but at the same time, kind of cool. Again, if you go to the assignments section in Blackboard, there's the file, there's my sample portfolio. So you can just right-click the sample portfolio, save it to your desktop, and now you have the pattern by which you can do your work. Here are the file folders with the 4 questions in them. Just right-click them, do your work, and then upload them to this file. When you're done, upload your file, attach it, browse my computer, find your file, like here. See, notice how it's automatically upload. Then you hit submit, and you can open your file. Again, I will go through these instructions again in my video to you all on Sunday. And also I'll give you some written instructions on how to do this if you get a little confused. All right? But that's your work for this week. It's basically letting you explain to me your ability to create a spreadsheet, do a little internet research, and look for information that we're going to talk more detailed wise next week in class. All right, so there it is. Whew. Quite a first night. Probably scaring half of you away. All right, but again, this is designed to begin. This basics that we're doing this week in this assignment are going to lead us into all our other discussions in our class. Next week, we're going to talk about FICO. We're going to talk about investments a little bit more. We're going to talk about, okay, I got a bank account. What do I do with it? I put it into a budget. I set aside how I spend my money. I set aside how much I'm going to save. Mr. Hassey, how can I determine this now when I don't know what my income level is going to be in the next few weeks or years or months? That's okay. It's all hypothetical. I don't need you to, I lost my light scores. There we go. I don't need you to use your real world things. I just want you to get used to putting together a budget, and we're going to talk about that budget next week in class. All right? Anybody have any questions? All right? You have the Blackboard, you have YouTube, you have some work to review and to post this week, which will be the beginning of our study in our class. Remember, the bottom line of this class is personal money management. How do I manage my life? All right? How do I manage the money that I have or will have? How do I manage the need for loans? How do I manage a budget? How do I manage investments? I'm sure a lot of you are in a 401k, right? Some of you are in a 401k. What's a 401k? It's an investment. Are you managing it? No. You give the money out of your paycheck, and a company manages that money for you. But you're going to do exactly in your portfolio what a 401k manager does. They select the stocks, they determine how much you buy, and they manage it. They watch how it changes over time. The only thing that's different from what you're doing in your portfolio to what 401k managers do is they change that rapidly, maybe weekly. You're just going to not change it. Once you select your stocks, you're going to just have that throughout the course. But the reason we do that is so we can see how that stock changes over time. What causes those changes to your portfolio over time? That's part of personal money management. So we put all this together over the next few weeks. You'll learn a little bit more of the specifics of banking, borrowing, credit, investments, and the last part of our class, the dreaded evil, taxes. Taxes. Once you make all this money, or you make money on investments, now you got to give it back to the government. Son of a gun. All right? But that's the reason why we have a society like the United States of America. Each citizen has to pay their way a little bit as being a member of that society. Believe that or not, that's the way the rules are. But that's where we're going to get to. So I'm going to stop right now. Remember, we have office hours on Monday. I'd like you to download that material this weekend and try to do that work and do that research. Use your textbook. Use the material in YouTube or Blackboard and put that together over the next week. If you have troubles with it, I have office hours on Monday afternoon. You can send me emails or texts during the course of the week. But I want you to try to put this together. I know it's a lot for the first week, but don't worry about it. I will help you. I will guide you if you need help. Any last minute questions, people? What do you think? Can we do this?
Yeah, we got
All
it.
right, good. All right. One question. Cecilia, you hear me? Cecilia, there you are. Wave your hand, Cecilia. There you are. Okay. Your camera on your computer goes up and down. Sometimes I see the top of your head. Now I see your very pretty face. So I don't know what's happening there. Just make sure that if that camera is stable. Same with you, Antonio. I only see your eyebrows. There you go.
I'm
There you go.
relaxing.
There you go. That's good, Cecilia. I see you now. That's okay. But sometimes it moves, just so you're aware of that. Anthony, I see a dark face. Maybe that's good. All right. Veronica, I see you fine. Yasnina? Yasnina. Is that how you pronounce that? Okay, good. Hope I got a chat. Here's a question.
Yes, it's Professor, it's Yesenia.
Yesenia, excuse
Yeah.
me.
No worries.
All right. So everybody else is okay. All right. So again, that's where we stand. The next time I'll see you, the next time you'll see me is Sunday afternoon when I post another video for you in Blackboard. I will send you an email when that is posted with the links. Look that over. It's going to explain the assignment, explain the material a little bit more for you. Then if you want to see me, I'm available Monday afternoon or through emails. And then I'll see you all next Friday night at 6 o'clock. And next week we'll go the full time period. So plan on that, okay? I'm looking forward to working with you all. I apologize that you have to get to know me in this platform, but the bottom line is we need to stay safe. You need to be well. Don't put yourself in situations that you can't control. You can't get the virus by me yakking into a computer. That's the best thing about this. That's the safest thing about this, and that's what the good thing about it is. We'll try to get through this, and hopefully, knock on wood, by the end of this class in May, we'll be back at work. Everything will be fine, and everything will be fixed. Let's hope and pray for that. So I'm looking forward to working with you all. Thank you. Thank you for your patience, and I'll see you guys on the internet during the next few days, okay? So adios. You can sign off. Unless you want to stick around and ask me any questions now, feel free, but I'll see you all in a few days, okay? Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Well, you guys sure leave this area fast. Thank you. Thank you, Cecilia. Thank you, Veronica. There you go. Oh, Veronica, the extra credit again was if you put it down in your portfolio, the Dow, the S&P 500, and the NASDAQ indexes values as of March 31st. That'll be some extra credit points. If you put those in, I'll give you some extra credit points, okay? There they go. Bye, bye. See ya. See you, Antonio. There's Veronica. Thank you, Veronica. You have a nice weekend too, and stay safe.